Hi students, this is Mrs. Bourne. Welcome to your lesson on stress. Some of you may feel like you are already PhDs in the stress category, so we're going to learn a little bit more about stress. So what is stress? So the definition, your basic definition, is going to be a set of physiological responses to stressors, good and bad. So physiological simply means body responses. So your body responds to stressors. So what are stressors? Anything that causes you stress. Now this sounds like a circular argument, but it's not. So can you think of an example of some event or situation or discovery that might cause you to feel a little stressed? Uh, maybe good and bad. What do you guys think? Hoping someone out there says global pandemic, probably a bad stress. Um, Here's a picture, some pictures I put up. So for example, finding out you're pregnant. Got a cute little baby toes picture there. Finding out you're pregnant. That's stressful. Even if you are 100% ready and even wanting and looking to try to get pregnant, finding out you are expecting a baby from your body that is half you and half your partner is a stressful thing. Trust me. You can ask any parent. Even as excited as you might be in the world, it's still stressful to discover that. And sometimes if you're not in a great situation, that might be even more of a feeling of a burden of stress. Okay? For you guys studying for a test, you feel like maybe you're not going to pass, or a class you might not be doing well in. That can be a very bad stress. It can be a good stress if it forces you to study and then you get a good grade and then you have this accomplishment. It could be a bad stress if it gets too high and it passes a level. So we'll talk about that. Then you have the angry man picture again. Um, Somebody yelling at you, that's a very stressful thing to happen. This is why they say that the customer service jobs, some of the most stressful jobs in the world, because you have to deal with people like that, right? So essentially, some stress is good and necessary. I'm not sure if you knew that, but too much stress and it causes all kinds of health issues. So I have a picture to kind of help you understand that. So this is called the human function curve. I found it on a research article. So if you look here, it has arousal stress. That, by the way, that doesn't actually mean sexual arousal. That just means like get off your butt kind of arousal. It forces you to get up. And then performance. And so they show you as you see the kind of curve going up, you have healthy tension, good tension. This is where you feel a certain amount of stress when your alarm goes off in the morning and it forces you to get up out of bed and to function, right? So that's a good stress. You get to your combat zone, that's where you're like, ooh, things are getting a little stressful. You get past that, your stress level gets more than what you are able to cope with, and it gets into the hump, okay, at the top of the corner there. And that is where you begin stress fatigue. Um, and then finally, any more stress added onto that, the stress is still going up. If you look here on this figure, at the hump, the arousal stress is going up. So everything to the right is more and more and more stress. But your ability to perform, that's the line, that's going further down, further down, further down. You get into exhaustion, ill health, breakdown finally. This is where a certain amount of stress, your performance actually increases. You can do better because you're a little bit stressed and you exert yourself more. Too much stress and you get into over the hump and into distress, so bad stress. So how does our body respond to stress? As you would have probably guessed from everything we've talked about, there are chemicals that your brain releases, and not just your brain, but certain glands in your body that release these chemicals into your body, and they do certain things to your body. So cortisol is the stress hormone. It's the main hormone that we're going to talk about. You need to know the name of cortisol. Okay, it is a very important hormone. It's not a bad hormone. It's a good one. It helps your body prepare for emergencies, fight or flight. Okay, so anger. When we talked about anger last time, we talked about how your body prepares, takes a little shortcut before you even decide what to do. Your body prepares itself to do whatever you need to do. So cortisol is one of those things that are released, one of those chemicals. It maintains your blood pressure. So as we talked about before, when you're in fight or flight and your blood pressure starts increasing, that's controlled by cortisol. Okay, your energy, so glucose gets dumped into your sugar, which is glucose, right? Gets dumped into your bloodstream. Um, so when you are feeling stressed, even if you don't think it's necessarily a bear about to kill you, your body is dumping glucose into your bloodstream in order to give you energy for whatever you have to do. In times of pandemic, when the only thing you can do is sit at home, that's a problem, right? It stimulates fat and carbohydrate metabolism for fast energy. All of this is basically you might need to run for your life, okay? So you need to have quick energy ready to go. Cortisol prepares your body for that. It's a good thing, but again, it can be too much is bad. One of the things that cortisol is responsible for is when you feel stressed, you don't have any physical activity that you can do to bleed off the stress. So let's say you're sitting in a cubicle all day and your boss gives you like 5 different assignments and you don't have the time to do them. And your stress level starts going up, your blood pressure starts going up. You start feeling maybe some panic, anxiety, worry, all of these emotions. You're just sitting in a cubicle. You have nothing physical you can do about it, but your body is preparing to run for its life. That's not a good combination. That's one of the reasons why when people feel stressed, what do? They start hand to mouth syndrome, right? Hand to mouth. That's when you start putting food in your mouth. Okay? I don't know if any of you all have noticed if you've gained weight or not with the stress of being home. Very likely, most of you have had an increase in appetite. You're more hungry even though you're doing less. And probably, I'm going to guess, Takis may have made an appearance. Anything that's high fat, salty or sweet. These ice cream is as a kind of a perennial go-to. Candies, chocolates, all that stuff you're only supposed to eat just a little bit of. When you're stressed, your body demands it. It spikes up the desire to eat those things because it thinks you're about to go running for your life. And so it's like, bring on the Takis. Let's run for, because remember, fat gives you more than twice as much as energy as carbs or protein. So it's like, bring on the fat. We're going to run for our lives. We're going to make it. We're not packing broccoli on. We're going to pack some Takis, right? Or some bacon or whatever you want to have, whatever your favorite snack is. That is a problem for your waist. Okay. Before we go into your waist, we're going to talk a couple minutes about these other stress hormones. Now, you may have heard of them, adrenaline and noradrenaline. Their other names are epinephrine and norepinephrine. So if somebody has a bee sting on them and they are deathly allergic to bee stings, they're going to give them an EpiPen shot. Have you ever heard of an EpiPen? It's a needle that's preloaded with epinephrine. If you have a life-threatening allergy, you are called to carry with you everywhere you go an EpiPen so that if you do get exposed to your allergen, you can jam it into your leg and release it, and it releases a shot of epinephrine into your body. What that actually is, it's a shot of adrenaline. It's the fight or flight rush. Okay, we're about to die. Let's get it done, right? So your blood sugar, your heart rate, your heart contractility, your relaxation, improve your breathing, all of these things help you fight or flight and survive. However, if you've just been exposed to an allergen, one of the most common problems with allergens For example, a peanut allergy is it causes your throat to close. I have this happen to me when I get exposed to too much cats. And your throat literally starts swelling shut. And that's bad because if you can't breathe, you die, right? So one of the main things that epinephrine is used for as a emergency counteractivity to an allergen is it relaxes your throat and that helps your breathing. That's why people who have been given epinephrine don't die when they've been stung by a bee or exposed to peanuts or cats in my case, okay? Now, norepinephrine is also released when you're stressed, increases blood sugar, heart rate, contractility. These things work together. They're not just like one thing does this and this thing does this. They're all released by the different glands in your head, your throat. You've got some in your core of your body, and they all work together to release these things to help prepare your body. And that's good. That's important. That's why the human race is still around, despite all of those saber-toothed tigers and stuff, right? So when stress is too high for too long, cortisol levels can cause the following. This is something I want you guys to be aware of as we go into week 3 or so of being stuck at home, okay? Anxiety and depression. Very, very common side effects of stress. Headaches. You can get stress headaches. It literally causes the pain in your head. Heart disease. So, for example, if you have a very stressful job like you're a firefighter or a police officer, quite often they have to medically retire before they are needing to retire in other ways because they start having some serious health adverse effects from the high levels of stress. Memory and concentration problems. If you've ever been I know exactly how this feels. I don't know if you guys know it yet. You've ever been so stressed out of your mind, you can't remember anything. You don't know where you put your keys. You don't know where you put your cup. You start freaking out about everything, right? Concentration. You can't study. What are you talking about? Study. I can't study. I'm too stressed. That's a real problem. Your tummy starts, some people are more liable to this than others, but your tummy starts giving you all kinds of issues, okay? Increased stomach acid, heartburn, problems with digestion, your whole internal balance is thrown off by too much stress. And then you, of course, have trouble sleeping. If your mind starts racing at night, thinking about all the what ifs and the what thens, and oh no, I'm never going to see my friends again because I'm being quarantined for the rest of my life. You won't, in case that's what you've been thinking. And weight gain. So one of the things that's very common with stress is that you eat more than you would, and not just that, but your body stores fat intentionally for the running away from your enemies section, okay? So the weight gain specifically with cortisol goes to your stomach area. For men, this is where you get your beer belly, okay? Women, you get look like you're pregnant, but you're not pregnant. I had a very stressful period of my life when we moved internationally. My husband started a new job, and we were without power and electricity, without being able to flush toilets for a while. It was a very stressful situation. I had bought about 3 pairs of pants before we moved, and a month later, those pants didn't fit anymore. Okay? I had not changed my eating habits, but my body preferentially took fat from my arms, my legs, other places, and put it on my belly. Preferentially. Stress gives you belly fat. This is bad because belly fat, stomach fat, is linked to heart disease, attacks, and stroke. Also, it leads to decreased testosterone. Okay, it can also stop your period for girls. Testosterone helps your body build up bones and muscles. So if you're a weightlifter and you're trying to get buff, if you don't have enough testosterone because you're too stressed, your body won't be able to get buff no matter how much weight you lift. Your sex drive goes down. ED stands for erectile dysfunction. Okay, so one of the things I want you guys to do is write out some ways that you personally can reduce your stress. I want you to look up some internet resources to how to deal with stress during this time. I gave you a resource online. Go outside, go for a walk, get some physical activity, and take care of yourselves out there, okay? Hope to see you guys soon. Bye.